Far Cry is that game where you dive headfirst into a tropical war zone, sneak through dense jungles, and quietly eliminate an entire outpost before anyone even realizes you are there. But it wasn't always as cool and extravagant. Back in 2004, Crytek released the very first Far Cry, a shooter that caught everyone by surprise. Its stunning graphics, satisfying gunplay, and surprisingly open-ended missions made it feel years ahead of its time, laying the foundation for one of gaming's biggest FPS franchises. The game starts with that Hawaiian shirt hero, Jack Carver, who is sailing his boat to a mysterious archipelago in Micronesia. This with the intention of getting a woman named Valerie, a CIA operative, close enough to the islands to begin her mission. Valerie hops onto a jet ski and heads off on her own, leaving Jack behind to enjoy what was supposed to be an easy payday. Instead, a missile strike forces him to swim and escape for his life because strange things are going on these islands. What started as a boat rental turned into one of the most Hollywood action movie openings you could ask for. The game wastes literally no time to put you into context. You are intruding into an island full of armed men and strange creatures. Plus, the armed mercenaries are already aware of your fashion choices.
Listen, dirtbag! Keep an eye out for some punk in a red Hawaiian shirt. If you see him, call me at once. Am I understood?
Yes, sir!
I'm heading out!
Hiding and finding a weapon is top priority, but instead we find an unexpected ally. A mysterious man by the name of Doyle on our radio gives us some directions and what to expect next.
Listen, you need to get out of there and quickly. I'll help you as much as possible, but you don't have much time. There's an exit that will lead to a small camp. Be careful as you go. This area is crawling with mercenaries.
Mercenary camps are ahead and we cannot turn back. This is where the game leaves it up to you. Rely on stealth or start shooting. Either way works as long as you complete your objective, which right now is survive. That's why I find the Far Cry concept so appealing. We are in what's supposed to be a relaxing or dream destination, dealing with the stressful situation of avoiding detection, managing ammunition, or just straight engaging in firefights. It's called Far Cry because we're far away from where a help scream could be heard, but also because of the Cry engine, the game engine designed by Crytek that made this game into a technical standout. Its massive draw distances, open environments, advanced shaders, and dynamic AI. It really was the next gen of PC gaming to the point that it has aged very well on many aspects, even without modding. Maybe not the AI, it's just rage bait how well they can shoot. They turn you into Swiss cheese the moment you come into the open. This is a first time playthrough for me, so I have a couple of places where I think the game hits really high notes, especially for 2004. I don't think there's many lows, just some less relevant aspects. For example, vehicles. There's a lot of driving, and there is variety in the manner to it. Pickup trucks armed with turrets are the main mean of transportation you will find. I have no idea how you can pilot and shoot at the same time, but whatever. There is several types of boats, there is hang gliding, I appreciate that one a lot. There is helicopters, but they are enemy piloted, you cannot fly them. The shooting, I think it's done masterfully. My very first contacts with FPS games that I can compare to this one is Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Counter-Strike 1.6. Both great shooters released prior to Far Cry 1, which obviously performs and aged better in that aspect than the previous mentioned pair. Here, there is a very tactical approach to the combat despite of the outfit. There is only 4 weapons that you can carry, so your loadout is a compromise. The enemy AI doesn't just stand there, they can and will headshot you. They can carry armor, they will flank, they will respond accordingly to your actions. That is why many times I will do my cower approach, sniper and long-range play. Take them out one by one from a safe distance, then cut in when numbers are low. I will not be considered a hero, but it beats reloading the last checkpoint constantly. Mission structure is another high. It's not so open world, so I'm not lost whenever I put back in. Just way more linear than other entries, and I can appreciate that. There is a lot of freedom because world is huge, but the game never expects you to wander around. You're given a clear objective and a massive environment to work with. I think that balance works really well. On regards to the stealth aspect, it's either not polished yet for obvious reasons, or I don't do it right. Many times I'd find myself trying to avoid conflict or thin out enemies one by one safely, but their view cones are definitely sharp and their hearing is as well. I'd be trying something, get spotted from miles away, and all you can see is bullets flying your way and mercenaries pushing your position, even though you're supposed to be covered. I didn't sweat it that much, there is no forced stealth sections, or being spotted doesn't fail missions. It might just trigger reinforcement from your loud approach. You can always safely fall back on the greatest stealth mechanic, killing everyone who saw you. Agent 47, probably. And one thing I liked fact that I didn't expect at all is, it suddenly gets scary. Why, you ask? Well, as you're dipping your red Hawaiian shirt into these islands, you'll start uncovering more and more of the ongoing experimenting. Suddenly, the weird mutations are very much alive, and an enemy to be aware of inside these laboratories, massive underground facilities, and monster-sized sewers. There are several types of mutants, each with different sizes and levels of danger. Even the least menacing one, this one that looks like a small tank from Left 4 Dead, could be a problem if not handled carefully. Usually the game will put you in tight hold situations, so running is your latest answer against them. Sometimes you will come across a mercenary versus mutant versus you type of feud. In other games it's usually a good new. Here, whoever is left standing is still a problem for you, so it's better to continue with your day and let them discuss it, because there is some massive scale conflicts. You see a battle and then snipers and bazookas are being shot from mountains away. You don't know how incredibly lucky you need to be to get past some altercations of this kind. Someone tell me, what is this nemesis looking thing, and why did someone decide to give him unlimited rockets from his arms? And if you thought that was enough mutation, there is also invisible ones. They carry submachine guns and they're quite difficult to detect if you don't use your thermal goggles. It's funny because you will enter a place and think, there should be a fight here, no? That's when you activate the heat detector and see the piece of crap charging at you. Conclusion, Far Cry, yes. Open world Civil War extravagant stealth parkour simulator, no. The story is interesting enough to keep you pushing forward. You encounter with Valerie a couple of times throughout the game, helping her with her goal of stopping the genetic mutation experiments from the story antagonist, Dr. Krieger, your stereotypical evil scientist. Valerie just wants to nuke everything so the mutants never leave the island. Honorable offer, honestly. Jack Carver is an okay main character. Other than his shirt, nothing of him really stands out. Maybe the fact that he resolves everything with an explosive. Probably near to 10 times during the whole game, you get to progress due to this fact. Explode this, explode that radio tower, explode that wall, explode that door. This man enjoys the July 4th every month. Story is good, but it's the gameplay and situations you find yourself that ultimately carry the Far Cry 1 experience. It is 2004, and this game is hardly better than many of these years' outstanding releases. Games like San Andreas, Prince of Persia, and Half-Life 2 had already dropped and were doing massive numbers. But in my opinion, there is one thing Far Cry has the lead in: immersion. I don't know why, but this is a game that I relate a lot with summertime. Maybe it's because my first contact with a Far Cry came on a summer break. It manages to get you to relax for a single second by looking at the shore. You get lost in the dense jungle that lacks animals. You hike up an immense mountain for no real reward, but you know what? I enjoyed it. One thing I do know, this game is way harder than almost any other 2004 release. This is another one of those Far Cries that counts with an antagonist and a pseudo-antagonist. In this case, we have the leader of the mercenary faction we fight every other minute of the game, Richard Crow, pretty much who is being paid by Krieger to protect the archipelago. He is the type of character you'll encounter several times throughout the game, but you can actually kill him even if you try. Obviously, that's because there's an actual event involving him waiting for us further down the road. There is this one mission where you fight him on a sinking ship while he's attacking you from a helicopter. The setting is sure epic, but the fact that you have to retry this part 10 times makes it lose some value. Eventually, getting rid of him during a final showdown with the mercenaries becomes the key to finding the location of the facility where the mutagen is being manufactured, so Crow was a convenient obstacle. This leads to Valerie finally getting the fireworks spectacle she wanted for the experiments. Kaboom! Good for her. While doing this, Doyle recommended over the radio that both Jack and Valerie inject themselves with a mutagen serum they had found, which will apparently protect them from the radiation and chemicals inside the lab. But now, she gets taken by Krieger, and it's up to our Hollywood main character to save the damsel in distress and get that Hollywood ending we've been waiting for. Krieger's main facility is situated near a volcano, and as we approach it, we're thrown into this massive scale battle where you just don't know what the hell is going on. Jack is showing strange symptoms. Everywhere you look, there are bullets, mutants, RPGs, snipers, mercenaries. Good lord, I feel like I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront. What's supposed to lead to the final showdown is a series of tight corridors leading to Krieger's offices. In this enclosed area, you're fighting over 10 enemies at the same time, and at this point, I don't see myself taking any other approach than isolating the fights and taking out one soldier at a time, because it's pretty clear by now that there's no Ramboing your way through this. Valerie is in trouble because she's infected, but so is Krieger, who finally decided to show his face. Yet again, we're thrown into another officer showdown where the odds and the numbers are against Jack Carver. I employed the same strategy as before, isolating the enemies and taking them out one by one, and then I just spammed Krieger until he barely had a chance to retaliate. His fate is eventually sealed with a few explosions But before he goes, his final words reveal the dirty play made by the sarcastic voice on the radio, Doyle. Apparently, the mutagen infection can only happen through injection, which is the exact same treatment that Jack and Valerie received based on Doyle's recommendation. And that's when the true antagonist of the game finally reveals himself. Harlan Doyle appears through a hologram and reveals that he's after the mutagen itself, the research files, and the antidote. Also, he can sell them on the black market for an immense fortune. Now, we're coming for the antidote, and we're coming for Doyle.
I'm coming for you, buddy.
For that, we get armed to the teeth and prepare for one of the toughest final sections I've encountered in a game. Unlike the enclosed offices from before, this time we're fighting through the headquarters of the Volcano Lab. It's completely wide open and we're exposed to the worst of the worst mutants that you can find. We're talking rocket and rifle wielding elite mutants that the moment you open the door, they are already firing at you.
Hi.
Antagonists that make me go through such lengths to finish the game cause me to have an actual personal motive. I want to end Doyle now. The amounts of effort he had me undergo. This overall mutant section took me 30 minutes, and when you finally face him, he cowers and lasts 1 second. That's it.
You can't change this. You can't change the future.
Probably not, but I can make sure you're not a part of it. Stupid bastard.
Jack puts an end to him, rushes out of the facility as the volcano erupts, and makes his way to Valerie to give her the antidote. And as for Jack, well, there's nothing else really known about him. The credits roll, and that's how Far Cry 1 ends. I will definitely recommend anyone giving this one a try. I think it's a shooter for someone looking for a real challenge. The game is genuinely difficult and it requires genuine skill, as opposed to the more fun to shoot approach you get in Far Cry 3, 4, and 5. They told a solid story with a bunch of mutants, mercenaries, and characters that I can count with only one hand. Jack, Valerie, Doyle, Crow, and Krieger. And with this game, they started a solid franchise that has gone on to leave a major impact on the video game industry. There are also a few direct spin-offs from this Far Cry, which have mostly been swept under the rug because they are downgrades from what we just played. Crytek eventually moved on from the Far Cry series and went on to develop Crysis, leaving Ubisoft with a successful gaming franchise that will continue without the original developers behind it. At the time of its release, Far Cry was a massive success, selling over 2.5 million units worldwide. It was also widely praised by the critics and was considered one of the best shooters and graphical showcases of its time. I'm excited to go over the other Far Cry games, especially the ones I haven't played before. My name is Ellis, and with nothing else to say, good night.